Hi, Julia Watts here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do a simple technique with Andy Skinner's watercolour sketches, and I'm using the Best Friends set, and I'm also using the Sentimentally Yours Textures Vintage Brick, and you'll find them over on my website juliawattscrafts.co.uk. So to start off, we're going to stamp the Best Friends stamp. So I'm going to pop into my platform. I need to take my phone out because we are using a rubber stamp. I'll bring it back in when we use the other stamp. This is just a bit bigger than A6, and it's actually pure white card. It's not watercolour card, it's pure white card. And we're going to pop a stamp out there, I think. Pick it up and we'll see if it's straight. Oh, it looks pretty straight. You can use the guides, the lines on your platform, to see if they're actually going to be straight-ish. She looks pretty straight. We just want the ground to be as straight as I can get it. Let me have a look. We go with that. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, so I'm going to stamp with Nocturne Nocturne Versafine Clair, which is the black one. And you will find Versafine Clairs and most of the re-inkers in stock on my website. Okay, good press. Re-inkers are really good investment, especially for the black, because obviously you use the black a lot. Browns as well, pine cone, acorn are great to have re-inkers for, and of course morning mist, which is the grey. She looks pretty good. I'm just going to go again because around her eye she's a little bit, a bit more attention there. A little bit there. Beautiful, beautiful stamps. Better, happy with that. A bit wipe, which is the extent of the cleaning. And then I've also stamped her on a piece of woodware masket sheet and cut out slightly on the inside so that when I stamp over it, it can actually go as close to the image as possible. So you don't have to be particularly good at fussy cutting because you're not going to be perfect. And obviously I've not bothered with the ground, I've just bothered with the little puppy or dog and the little girl. This is the real challenge, getting the back off. There we go. Hopefully the real challenge isn't putting it on, but we'll see. Now ideally you'd leave it to dry for a little bit, just so that you don't get ink on the sticky side of your masket sheet. But obviously we're not waiting here, we're just going to pop it down. See if I can get it roughly in the right place as to how I've cut it out. Yeah, go down there. And of course it doesn't, if the ink's very wet, it doesn't stick so well. And be careful as well that you don't smudge the ink while you're doing this, which is another reason why it's a good idea to wait till the ink's drier. And you can, I keep the carrier sheet, so this carrier sheet, can you see that? I keep that, and then I put my mask back on that again and keep it with the stamp. I might have to faff around with this a little bit more because she's a bigger stamp. Actually going on quite well. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Happy with that. Right, so she's masked off. You can see there are areas that I haven't obviously cut out, so because he's too fiddly, and it doesn't really matter that much. So we're going to stamp the vintage brick from Sentimentally Yours over the top. And she's masked, so obviously we won't ruin her. Now this isn't special acrylic stamp. Oh, I need to put my phone back in. It's just stained because I've used archival with it. So when you buy the stamp, it's going to be nice and new and clean. But mine's dirty. Mine's well loved. So we put the foam in because we're dealing with the clear stamp. And it is a little bit grungy, as you'll see from the carrier sheet. See, it's quite grungy, there's gaps, and that makes it nice and forgiving for when you're stamping. And so we're going to pop it over the top. My magnet's going to be in the way there, unfortunately. Could bring it down a wee bit. Sometimes it's a good idea to actually have a bigger piece card. But I'm quite frugal with my card, so it's going there. That's what's happening, right? I'm going to pick it up. Sometimes it picks up the masket sheet as well. Don't worry about that. Just make sure it's pressed up into the corner. Oh, my magnet's jumping about. Pressed up in the corner so you can reposition it if you want to. But I probably won't bother because it's a background, so we're not stressing too much. And I'm going to stamp around with archival. Occasionally, if you use Versafine Clair with Versafine Clair and the images overlap, you do get a bleed. I particularly noticed it with the watercolour card, the super smooth watercolour card. I'm not too sure about this one, but to make sure that it doesn't, I'm using archival. You could use Distress Oxide if you wanted to, but archival works very well. And also if you want to stamp on top of archival with Versafine Clair, that works very well as well. But before I do that, I'm just going to make sure we've got no air bubbles. So I'm pulling it off, not all the way off, and I'm going to roll it back onto my platform so that there's no air bubbles, and that gives me a better chance of getting a decent image. And this is potting soil, as I said, and they do dry a lot quicker than Versafine Clair. But I'm going to actually take off this side. I'm going to actually remove some of the ink just there anyway, and then I've got bits of kitchen roll, but we'll be fine hopefully. And then I'm going to press down. Hopefully that's not dried because it is super quick at drying. Actually, I might swap over to the Wendy Vecchi inks, we'll see. I've done this before, but I can't remember what ink I used. I have a feeling this is going to be light, but we'll see. Yeah, it's a bit too light. A bit too light where it's dried. Okay. That's the thing with archival, it does dry quick. And you see I'm a little bit wonky, but that's all right because we cut it down. You won't worry about that. Right, I'm just going to nip and get my Wendy Vecchi ink. So I've got potting soil. This is Wendy Vecchi make art, and it's a dye ink. So it's not as quick drying as archival, but it's potting soil, which is exactly the same colour as the archival ink. So we're going to go for this instead. And I've got kitchen roll on there, which is a little bit annoying. But we'll go with it as it is. So we should be all right with this now. Let's get some decent amount of ink on. There's a goodly amount of ink. And we are going to think about where she is. She's on towards the right hand side. So we're just going to smudge away some of that ink. And we are also going to give it a little bit of a spritz, just a light spritz, and hopefully it will be fine. Let's see. See, it's a big stamp. You could use one of them tools, or also the circular acrylic block. The acrylic circle works really well. Let's see what we've got. Oh, it's made me hot. That's better. That's better. I do want to go again for that bit there. In fact, I might just do a little bit more water just there. See, it is grungy. This is the thing with grungy stamps. You don't know whether you're missing a bit or whether it's supposed to be like that. It is actually, looks like it's supposed to be like that. Just to fool me. There we go. Okay. There's definitely some, I can see it on the stamp there. Let's just give it another press. There we go. That's better. Okay, happy with that. Obviously that potting soil dye ink will wash off. The archival won't, but the dye ink will. And this is a little bit wet, so I'm not sure whether I'll be able to use this again. Got another piece of kitchen roll actually just before we fetch that off. Okay. And so when we reveal her, she's nice and clean. We did remove some of the ink from around that area anyway to give her a bit of a halo, which is quite a nice thing to do. Oh, dirt. Good job it's going to get trimmed down. And the little doggy. There we are. Colour her in, and you've got, I think, really nice journal page or a nice card, but it just gives a different backdrop having that brick wall around her. So I hope you found that useful. You can see what does work and what doesn't work. Archival's great ink, but it does dry quickly. You've got to be very careful. Yeah, so hopefully you found that useful. As I said, you can find the products over on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk. Do like and subscribe if you're not already. It's nice to see lots of new subscribers coming on recently. And I love to read your comments. And do check out some of my other videos too. Thank you for watching.